It's conference championship week in the NFL, and here are my predictions for the week. But first, how did I do last week in my predictions? In the divisional round of the playoffs, I went 4-0 against the spreads, 3-1 with the over-unders, and 2-2 with who's gonna win. Starting off the week on Sunday, in the first game it's the NFC Championship Game. We have the 12-5 Commanders versus the 14-3 Eagles. The Commanders are coming off a 45-31 win against the Lions, and in that game, Jaden Daniels went 22 of 31 with 299 yards and 2 touchdowns, while also having 51 yards rushing. Then Brian Robinson Jr. had 77 yards rushing and 2 rushing touchdowns, and De'Ami Brown led them with 6 receptions and 98 yards. And on their defense, they had 2 sacks and 4 interceptions, which one of them was a 40-yard pick six. And with that win, Washington's in the NFC Championship game for the first time since 1992, and in that same year, they won their last Super Bowl, and it was against the Bills, which could be a rematch this season. And the Commanders have had a huge improvement from last season, where they went 4-13, and this season they just got their 14th win. Then the Eagles are coming off a 28-22 win against the Rams, and in that game Jalen Hurts went 15 of 20 with 128 yards and 70 yards rushing with a touchdown. Then Saquon Barkley had 205 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, and in 2 games this season versus the Rams, he had 460 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, which all 4 of those touchdowns were more than 60 yards. And for the Eagles defense, they had 5 sacks in that game. But even though the Rams lost, in their 2 playoff games their defensive line played incredible, having 16 sacks in their last 2 games. The Commanders and Eagles have played both in Week 11 and Week 16. In their first matchup in Week 11, the Eagles won 26-18, and in their second matchup in Week 16, the Commanders won 36-33. And in those 2 games, Saquon Barkley nearly combined for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. So Saquon should be well over 100 yards in this game. Entering this game, the Commanders guard, Sam Cosmi, is out with a torn ACL, and the Eagles cornerback Quinyon Mitchell is questionable for this game. The over-under for this game is 47.5 points, and the Eagles are 5.5 point favorites. Both of these teams have very high-powered offenses, so I think it's going to go over on the points. I really like how the Commanders have been playing lately, so I'm taking the Commanders with the upset and winning. Then the AFC Championship game, we have the 13-4 Bills versus the 15-2 Chiefs. The Bills are coming off a 27-25 win over the Ravens, and this was a very good back and forth game, where entering the fourth quarter, the Bills were up 21-19, and in that fourth quarter, the Bills kicked 2 field goals, and with a minute 33 left in the fourth, the Ravens scored a 24-yard touchdown to Isaiah Likely, and went for the 2-point conversion to tie the game, but Mark Andrews dropped the ball, and the Bills were able to run out the clock. Josh Allen in that game went 16 of 22 with 127 yards, and had 2 rushing touchdowns. Then James Cook had 67 yards rushing, and Khalil Shakir led them with 6 receptions and 67 yards. And on their defense, they had 2 sacks and an interception, and 2 fumble recoveries. Then for the Chiefs, they're coming off a 23-14 win against the Texans, and in that game, and entering the fourth quarter of that game, the Chiefs were only up by 1 point, and the score was 13-12, but Patrick Mahomes would find Travis Kelce for an 11-yard touchdown, and Harrison Butker would end up kicking a 27-yard field goal. The only other points for the Texans that game was a safety by Matt Ariza for running out the back of the end zone to run out some time. But Patrick Mahomes went 16 of 25 with 177 yards and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt led them with 44 yards rushing and a touchdown, and Travis Kelce had 7 receptions for 117 yards and a touchdown. And now Travis Kelce is just 225 yards behind Jerry Rice for the most postseason receiving yards, and is just 2 touchdowns away from tying Jerry Rice's most postseason receiving touchdowns. And this is the 7th year in a row where the Chiefs have made the AFC Championship game. This will be the 4th time Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes have played each other in the playoffs. But in the regular season, Josh Allen is 4-1 versus Patrick Mahomes, but Josh Allen is 0-3 versus Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. They played each other back in Week 11, and the Bills won that game 30-21. The over-under for this game is 48.5 points, and the Chiefs are 2-point favorites. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game, and I'm taking the over on the 48.5 points. And I think this is going to be a pretty close game as well. I could see it coming down to one of the last drives. But I still have the Chiefs winning and covering the 2-point spread. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments who you think's going to win. And with the NFL season coming to an end, let me know what type of videos you would like to see in the offseason. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Goodbye.